last 20 years doing it on a regular basis. This is the new book, Art Crime, and it's volume 2 of my first book, Act Like Nothing's Wrong. That one came out 3 or 4 years ago. In the meantime, there's a process being used called iris prints, and it's developed mainly for photography, so that work that's of small format can be scanned on a computer and reprinted onto canvas or onto archival paper. So it becomes a fine art medium that's lasting, and you can make limited edition pieces. In my case, at this gallery on Hayes Street, we've put them onto canvas and also archival paper. The paper absorbs the ink more and the colors become more muted. But the canvas reflects the color more, so it becomes a brighter. And they're enlarged to this enormous capacity, this giant format of 3 feet by 4 feet. When the originals are really about that big. They're not much bigger than 8.5 by 11. Some are 8.5 by 17. I've been limited all this time by the length of the glass on a photocopier, because I found by my bitter experience making a collage that was too big, I couldn't reproduce it. And to me, they're not really real until they're reproduced, until they're printed, because otherwise all the little cut lines and things that you see, the razor blade goes over, it all kind of shows up. But there was one original that's 4 feet, 4.5 feet long. It was made for a Mexican punk band, Tijuana No. And it got reduced down to a CD size, so it folds out probably 4 panels on the CD paper, 4 inches by maybe 12 inches. But to see the original, it's a big difference. The change is enormous. Originally, I started doing record covers for Dead Kennedys, done a lot of them. And then for Biafra's spoken word records and DOA, Canadian punk band, No Means No, lots of local San Francisco bands, Plainfield. And this one was for Green Day. Trey was asking me, well, how do you do this? How do you make these things go together? And I said, well, I just cut out pictures, and put them together. And I showed him that one. He said, why don't I put a revolver in her hand instead of a bunny or something? So I found a gun that worked out great. I can just work with what is available, especially old paintings and old engravings. These are all things that were made when the Catholic Church was the only outfit out there paying artists to do anything. So naturally, all the work that exists in medieval or Renaissance art is generally ecclesiastic themes. A lot of it just I abuse because it's there. If there were mythological interpretations, I'd probably abuse them too. Only it's more fun to abuse these. Some of them, for example, like the family with the marriage couple that I have a series of. It's a 13th or 14th century painting. And these people, I've always seen them, since childhood and looking in art books. And they're kind of pretty well known. Almost everyone's seen this, almost as well known as the Mona Lisa. To me, they're like sitting ducks. They're there waiting to have some silly platypus or something to be held, an aardvark or I have a dead warthog in one picture, and it's my favorite. To me, I just needed to do something to spice up their life, give them a reason to exist. Actually, I've done probably a dozen or more, but of variations on this one theme. I just can't resist. I can't help myself. I don't know. I have to keep on practice saying that so for when I go to court to the judge. I locate a lot of pictures from old Life magazines or old children's books from the 40s and 50s. Lots of manuals, mechanical manuals, lots of supply catalogs for different instruments and hardware, really obscure places. The more the better, more obscure the better. Something about fish. I don't know why fish and surrealism seem to be married that way. I feel bad for fish. They got a bad rap. If you're interested in getting the books, you can contact Last Gasp, publisher in San Francisco.